Okay, so with this, we are done with two sections. The advanced AI tools usage, we got to understand how AI works under the bonnet. What are the typical prompting techniques that you can use to enhance the output by the AI systems? And we went through the AI assistance and folder system that helps you automate your basic work and part of the tasks that are can be pretty mundane, data intense, time intense, and really reduce your cognitive load with the help of AI assistants and some basic automation. So we've gone through the ChatGPTs on OpenAI. We've reviewed how you can insert the system instructions as part of the folders and dedicate each folder to a particular type of activity. We went over the AI assistants in Microsoft, which is a pretty powerful platform. And I've shown you a more advanced AI agent that is launched per schedule and can be launched on different triggers. For example, the email received from the participants. You can launch any or come up with any other triggers that are important and relevant for the particular workflow and automate the work this way. We also went through the image generation capabilities and how you can, by developing a pretty sophisticated system instruction, automate the generation of the images in the brand aligned style. And then again, regardless of the platform you use, you can be sure that almost each of them now either have the capability to create the assistants. So say other platforms be like Gemini has Gems, SAP has Joule Studio, and I expect almost every software that you are using right now to be rolling out their AI assistance capabilities in the next 12 months. So you don't need to overthink it. Like the most important skill that you can have in 2026 is really creating the system prompts and putting together all the necessary information for these AI assistants to perform the work in the best possible way. All these platforms will do the technical rest for you, so life will be easy. Next step is in our next phase in the professional progression path with artificial intelligence is the autonomous agents and automations. And it involves all corporate departments and the majority of the business processes. And I would like to start with some theory here. So first of all, when we, the technologists, are using the word agent, what we mean by that is the autonomous entity that perceives its environment through the sensors, processes the information, and takes the action in order to achieve the specific goals. And as you can see on this chart on the right, what do you see? Well, first of all, what I see is that there is a closed feedback loop. So there is a continuous perception, execution of tasks, and then the actions in order to change the environment. And then the perception continues, and then the perception repeats, right? So the agent works in a way that up until the environment equals the desired environment, I will do the work necessary and change this environment so that it is in the state that I want it to be. So that is like one of the principles of the autonomy of the agent. And another one is that I don't really see a human in this entire schema. And that is because the agent itself, like the term agent, like how developers have come up with this. So the term agent was taken into the software development world a few decades ago because the very first programs were really simple and they required for a user to be in front of the computer in order to launch a program, input the parameters or provide some input data and then wait for a little bit and get the result out of it. But as we all know, developers are very interesting people. They like to automate work and they don't like to be there. Therefore, the agent was seen as a new type of the software that would do the work for the human, but it would not require a human to be in front of the computer and steer every action of it. So the term was taken and coined like this. It's an agent is an autonomous entity that perceives the environment as such, then does all the actions necessary in order to change the environment to the desired state, or in other words, to achieve its goal, right? And what do we see in this particular image on the right is a few things that I observed. One is that I definitely see a closed loop. I can see how there is a continuous perception, the execution of work, impact on the environment. So the agent is changing something in the environment. It can happen through the tools, so the connectivity to different systems that enables it. And then the perception happens again. So that is how the first principle of autonomy is achieved, that there is a continuous understanding of what is happening in the environment in order to maintain or take it to the desired state. Another observation is that there is no human here, and it is one of the cornerstone principles that you as a professional or a business owner have to really follow. This is, how can I remove myself or remove other humans from the processes that can be done automatically, that can run automatically without any intervention. And it is possible to achieve in 95% of the cases. I assure you that this is so. And throughout this workshop, I'm showing you how system instructions, if put together well, if enough context is provided, if enough testing is made, you can develop it in a way that it will do the work for you pretty reliably and you don't need to be there. So, the very simple composition of agent can be seen like this. It has to have a trigger event, so something that starts the execution of the work by the agent. And it can be either a schedule by which it runs. For example, every hour I want to check this document or platform or task list or whether new messages have been received. And then upon that, I will act. So the agent itself, its core, is comprising of few things. One is the OpenAI chat model that executes the intelligent work, the memory so that it can save information and pull information for later for many different cases. And then it can perform actions like, for example, it can send messages in your Slack, it can send the emails, communicate with any other systems, and so on. Right. The other types of triggers, though, are the triggers from the external systems. So when a new message is received, when an email is received, when the data has changed, it will trigger the run of the agent. So we categorize the agents like this. Well, first of all, I'd consider like the orchestrated AI agents and workflows. One of them, for example, that we are using a lot in helping a lot of our clients there is the social media director agent and the leads nurturing agent. I have a separate video on the social media director agent. As such, as it's a constellation of the agents organized in one team that do the work together. Let me show you real quick how it looks. Let's take this agent, for example, Director SMM agent for Adaya Daily News. It's an agent that has the sub-agents in its team and the tools that it can use. For example, news scraper, blog post agent, LinkedIn agent, Telegram agent, Instagram agent, and the image generator. This agent, again, is run by the system instruction where, because it's a director, it overlooks the work of other agents. So it has the linkage to them and the SOP that explains how exactly and in what order it has to trigger these agents. And then every particular agent in this team is run by their own standard operating procedures. Again, I have a video about that where I'm going through this step by step, and you can watch it later for a more profound understanding of how the director SMM agent works. Another example is the leads nurturing agent. This is the one that gets connectivity to our CRM and reads the information about all the prospects that haven't been followed up for a few days or with whatever frequency they have to be touched based upon. And then it will extract the history of the previous conversations, understand our existing products, services, and campaigns that we run, and then we'll talk to these particular prospects on WhatsApp, email, and other channels. So that is how you can help your sales team offload practically like 75% of the work that they are doing right now to be assisted with the artificial intelligence. Another type of assistance is the conversational assistants. These are the ones that you create and then you share or expose to other people so that they can talk to them, and it can help it can help in your corporate environment a lot. Let me head over to Ailer, the platform we've developed for these conversational agents to be servicing users in the conversational format. So Saha is one of my favorite ones. It's the staff admin assistant. It was created for a company that has thousands and thousands of employees. scattered out all over the country, not necessarily present in the headquarters because they have to work on the sites. But what you want to ensure for these employees is the ability to service their requests in the shortest possible time and to minimize the back office workload and expenses. So this agent has plenty of different commands upon which it can service the users. So it would send the start of the day instructions for every employee. It will then summarize the day, do the weekly summary, explain the leave balance, help them apply for leave. In case they are sick, it will service them in the particular way, registering their sickness. It can generate the salary slip, explain the pay slip, process the request for salary advance, help them log overtime, help them swap the shift, get to understand the today's shift, send the lunch reminder, process, for example, a new uniform request, broken tool report, and so on and so forth. So as you can imagine, this can streamline the entire process of like servicing your employees, and especially if these are like thousands and thousands of people that work in the company. And in every particular case, it will know how to talk to the employee and what to ask it. So let's say I'm requesting a new uniform. It will know what data to ask in order to register this request and process it properly. So it is generating the interactive form to ask me for my size. I'm quite tall. I'll choose extra large stuff, white stuff, and I'm placing an order. You can then track the order and, of course, keep communicating with this assistant in order to fulfill any other of your requests if you're an employee. Another example is the recruitment assistance, where a lot of work in terms of intake of the information from the potential candidate can be automated. You would expose this agent on your website on a certain particular page, and you would send this page to the candidates. And then I will say, I want to apply for a job at your company. What positions are open? Okay, I'm selecting a job type. So you can program your workflow in terms of how you want to communicate with the candidate, what are the stages of this communication, what information has to be taken in from them, and then based on what criteria you will decide whether you want to like take them to the next steps or maybe, save their information for later and so on. I will apply for a concierge job. Nice. Haven't been in Miami for a while. All right. Shall I choose my CV? Okay, I'll just pick this one. So think of it as a way to automate almost any structured communication, either within your company or between your company and the external consultants, candidates, leads, prospects, website visitors, subcontractors, what have you. And as in all the other cases, in order to program this, you need to understand your business. You need to understand how it all works. And then you need to provide this information in a structured way as the system instruction and the documents into the knowledge base of the agent. There are many other use cases for the conversational agents and assistants. For example, the content strategy assistants, corporate training, architecture oversight, learning management, AI business coaching, procurement, banking concierge, shopping center concierge. What else are my favorite ones? Real estate assistant that you can expose to the clients or potential clients on the website, and it will not only answer the very how can I help you type of questions, but will lead the visitors all the way to scheduling the call with your real estate agent. And same is possible in every industry. As I mentioned earlier, the benefit of exposing an AI assistant on your website is that not only it can capture or engage the visitor with a higher conversion rate, but it would capture the valuable information by providing the intellectual output to the lead that is relevant to their problem. So you are partially starting to solve their problem right here, right now, while they are on your website, building the trust and increasing the exposure of your brand for them that way to build more loyalty towards you. Okay, and then another type of AI agents is the voice assistant, and you can use them in many areas. I think voice assistants get to be a little bit overhyped. Like people think they can make calls and sell stuff, do cold calls. I don't think that's a very valid case for now, but things like restaurant booking, in-room dining in the hotels and like overall servicing of the hotel visitors throughout their stay, real estate, inbound viewing scheduling. These are the use cases that are quite possible with the voice assistants. I would like to show you a few that we have configured for our clients so far. We have a Mary, the Ivy London restaurant assistant, and it can be connected to the phone or you can talk to it online in order to book your reservation at the restaurant.
Hello, this is Mary from the Ivy London. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Mary. I would like to book a table.
Good evening, Matthew. I'd be delighted to help you with your reservation. What date are you interested in booking?
Can I do this tonight, 5 p.m.?
It looks like we're fully booked for 5 p.m. tonight. Would you be open to a different time? Perhaps a bit later?
Yes, okay. How about 6:30?
Great choice. I have you down for 6:30 p.m. May I know how many guests will be joining you?
Yeah, there'll be 5 of us.
Perfect. So that's a table for 5 at 6:30 p.m.
Right.
A seating preference, we offer a classic indoor setting, outdoor terrace, or exclusive private dining rooms.
I would like the spectacular view the most.
Got it. I've noted your preference for the seasonal outdoor terrace with a spectacular view. Wonderful choice. I'll ensure you have table with spectacular view. Is this reservation for a special occasion? Or do you have any special requests?
No, we are celebrating a new partnership, but nothing fancy, so don't worry. Thanks for asking, though.
That sounds exciting. Congratulations on the new partnership. I'll make sure everything is in place for your celebration. Just to confirm, we have your reservation for 5 guests tonight at 6:30 p.m. in the outdoor terrace with a spectacular view. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for confirming, Matthew. If you have any questions about our menu or need assistance with parking, please feel free to ask. We look forward to welcoming you to the Ivy this evening.
Thank you so much, Mary. See you soon.
You're very welcome, Matthew. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Enjoy your evening.
All right, great. Now, the way we service these agents under the bonnet is we are using a platform called Vapi, where you can create these assistants. And let me quickly run you through it and really once again demonstrate how simple the setup really is. Right, we have been previously talking to Mary, the hostess and table booking service assistant of the Ivy London, which is a restaurant. And similarly to other platforms where you set up the textual assistants that do the work for you or the AI agents, with this one, what you need to do as the most important step is to set the system prompt or the system instructions that explains the model, what role exactly it has to adopt, and then the guidelines and the conversation flow. So you are explaining the initial greeting and the natural engagement. You explain what exactly has to be taken in from the caller, the menu highlights, hours of operation, policy in terms of processing incomplete or vague information, the instruction to summarize the details in the end of the call. So that is like the heart and core of the voice agent. And then in addition to that textual description itself, you can also include the files to also serve as the knowledge base. You select how many tokens are being used in this conversation, and the temperature. The higher the temperature, the higher the creativity of the output. You can select one of the multiple voices. This platform itself is an integrator as well, so it connects different pieces of the execution flow. For example, the voice itself comes from one of the providers. It can be Vapi native, but it can be a voice that you've set up on Cartesian, 11 Labs, Rhyme, and many other voice providers. Some of them are multilingual, so that your customers can be serviced in multiple languages. And it has additional capabilities such as tools and functions in order to read and write the information from the database. Booking agent, for example, would need to have a connectivity to the booking database where the information about the current reservations is stored, so that it could understand whether the tables are available in this or another area of the restaurant, and respectively write the reservation into the system during the conversation. I hope you liked it, and I hope it has inspired you for a case in your business. Again, I guess AI voice assistants get to be a little bit overhyped. People think you can use them for mass cold calling and closing the sales calls. We are not there yet. And I think from the ethical perspective, it's just not something that humans are willing to adopt. And by the time when the companies will start using AI assistants to close the sales automatically, without any human involvement, the AI assistants that will be representing the users will also be there. So there will always be this level of like human to human communication, and the level where humans are delegating their communications to the agents, and these agents talk to each other.